All right. So today we have DJ Maiko, aka Andy, who is a professional DJer. Give us a brief introduction.
So yeah, my name is Andy, also known as DJ Maiko. I actually DJ in the streets of London. Me and a couple of friends have a company which sells drum and bass themed merchandise. We're known as Amen Breaks UK, so you can look us up online. And basically, what I do is I go out with my crazy homemade portable sound system, and I just DJ in the just in the streets of London.
Oh wow.
Yeah, it's good fun actually. I've been to some protests and everything like that.
Wait. So with everything going on, you're DJing in the middle of a protest right now
Oh
too?
yeah. I went to one for Extinction Rebellion, and basically I was there playing music. There were about a million cops. While I was looking down to mix, I have a little disco light on the front, so the light was in my face, and I couldn't see what was going on. And they were trying to set up this gazebo, and the cops were trying to get it off of them. And the thing ended up set up directly above my head. And the first thing I knew of it, a policeman was tapping me on the shoulder, and he goes, "Is this your gazebo, sir?" And I turn around and I look at him and I'm like, I'll be honest with you, mate, this is the very first time hearing of it. Yeah. Luckily, like you can't see me, but I have quite long hair and a beard and everything, so I can basically just point at my chest and look up and to the side and get away with murder. So,
Oh wow. Now you say that you know like the brief history of drum and bass
yes.
and
So
DJing.
basically, drum and bass came about. They were the pieces were all there, and then they all kind of converged. So in the late 80s, early 90s, music like hip hop and Chicago house arrived in the UK. And the thing is, they were super localized scenes in America, which didn't have anything to do with each other. But as far as the UK was concerned, that was just the hot new beats from America. So, so basically, if you imagine a hip hop drum break played at double time, and then underneath that you would have a reggae bass line. So you would have like one long cycle of the reggae bass line to two cycles of the hip hop drum break, and then yeah, basically you originally had a style of music called happy hardcore, which was like a four on the floor beat, very fast. Everyone in the early 90s was on tons of MDMA, basically. And yeah, so basically, we didn't see the separation, and we just basically added all these different styles of music together in the UK. And yeah, that's the thing. It's not really that well known outside of Europe and maybe South America, but yeah, people are missing out. I
Mhm.
was thinking I might actually play you a sort of stereotypical drum and bass song, just
Yeah,
so you kind of have
please.
an idea what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
So yeah, so this is so that's see what I mean, like the hip hop beat sped up,
Yeah. Yeah. I definitely
and then you would
I
have
hear
something
that.
like this.
Interesting. And you
Sorry, go on.
yeah. I didn't know if you were gonna play more of it on,
Oh
but
no, no, I
you
was
made that
actually
beat
sorry, go on.
yourself.
Sorry.
You
Oh
made
no, no,
that
no, no.
beat yourself.
That's just an MP3. That was actually by somebody called Nicky Blackmarket, who is a
Huh.
huge name in the scene.
Really?
Yeah, one of the first generation.
Oh wow. Yeah, because I listened to a lot of EDM myself.
Mm.
When I was in the first stages of actually getting into EDM, I was looking at the various kinds of it,
Hmm.
and drum and bass was actually one of them that really caught my attention. Only because the I mainly use it for when I go to the gym and I work out with it, and I like the fast tempo that drum and bass gives you.
Yeah, in a lot of ways, I think it's almost like the punk of the electronic world. It's
Hmm.
because it has a reputation for being very laddish. Basically, if you like slightly heavy set young men pulling funny faces and pointing at you like "whoa" like that, then yeah, drum and bass is for you.
Literally any DJ that you see at like a concert.
Yeah, basically.
I never thought of it that way.
Yeah, but yeah. It's funny actually. Last year we went to a festival in Prague called Let It Roll, which is the biggest drum and bass festival in the entire world. And we basically ended up kidnapping these two American guys from our hostel and taking them along, who
Oh
had
god!
heard about it from us like 24 hours or less previous.
And you guys basically said, "Hey, you want to
Yeah, yeah,
come
come
to
on,
this
come
drum and bass
on.
concert with us?"
Yeah, because it was like super super cheap because it's the Czech Republic, and yeah, it was basically like that movie Hostel, except
Yeah.
everyone ended up having a fucking wicked time.
Oh my god. Do you dabble outside of drum and bass, or do you specialize just in
uh,
drum and bass DJing?
I play some dubstep, but mainly like the older style. See, I lived in the southwest of England when dubstep was like brand spanking new,
Uh
around
huh.
about 2005. So tracks like, do you know Midnight Request Line by Scream?
I do not know that.
Oh yeah, yeah. Well, dubstep used to be a lot different to what you know it now. Used
Yeah,
to be
I
a
was
lot
gonna
more.
say the OG of like dubstep. I feel like to my generation, I feel like
Hmm.
is probably Skrillex.
Oh yeah, yeah. Well, that's the thing. Like, see, for
Probably newer.
the-
I
my,
want to
my
say.
generation, the question was whether it was Midnight Request Line by Scream that you first heard, or Night by Benga and Koki. But this
Banger
was
and
like 10 years
Coke.
ago, so
I was gonna say.
yeah, more like 15 actually. Jeez, I'm reaching that age now when you're like, oh, that was a couple of years ago. Like, oh no, shit, that was a decade and a half ago.
How old are you?
I was 32 last month.
Oh,
Yeah,
happy
yeah,
belated
I
birthday.
tell you, it's not nearly as old as I thought it was going to be.
Yes, yes.
You're like, oh god, 30, I'll be a million years old by then.
Time flies. Time flies. Do you produce like
I
a
used to
lot?
do a lot more, but I've been kind of slacking off on that front, mainly just pushing this business of ours. I'm organizing it with a guy I was at school with, and then another friend of his.
Because I wonder this because I was in a I don't know they have a place called Guitar Center by in the UK. I doubt it.
I think they might actually. I'm not sure, but I assume we have like an equivalent anyway.
I played with a couple of the DJ sets at Guitar Center one day
Mm,
with my sister's fiance, and I found it really interesting because like in the process of when he was making beats,
mm,
it was kind of like spiritual, I want to say. Like, can you take me through the process of when you're starting off fresh
hmm.
and you're making a brand new track?
Well,
Like, what goes into it? Like, do you go off of what you like, or do you just try to mesh up sounds that sound good together and make them flow?
well, I think that the most important thing in dance music generally is structure. And basically, like most electronic music, it's more or less the same song, but with different notes and settings,
Mm.
if you know what I mean. So I think the secret is with making tracks is do crazy, unpredictable things, but do them at predictable times. And if really, it's whatever works for you. You could poodle around with a synthesizer until you get a sound that you like, or you could like start by layering drums and then build upwards from there. The way I like to think of it is almost like playing Tetris. Like
I love Tetris.
It's all about packing the things in together.
Hmm.
So you can use like equalization to trim off all the information that you don't need. So, say for instance, if you have a guitar sound, you would cut the way bottom off of that, so you don't hear all the rattling around and everything.
Yeah,
Basically, the secret is to not overload any individual frequency band. I mean, it's not too dissimilar. It's like a more involved form of DJing. They're kind of
gotcha.
two sides of the same coin. Because when you DJ, that's essentially what you're doing is you're cutting out certain pieces of songs to make them fit together better with other songs. So that,
Hmm.
like I said, that's why it's important to stick to the grid because all these songs are kind of designed to snap together.
Yeah. And do you because like whenever I listen to EDM, there are parts where I feel like I can anticipate the beat drop,
Well,
but
exactly.
sometimes but sometimes it doesn't like Like sometimes I see some DJs going with the style of they build it up and then they bring it back down, and then they
Hmm.
bring it back up, bring it down a little bit more, and then
Hmm.
they build it up, and that's when they drop it on you.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, you can do that now because basically because of digital DJing and synchronization, it makes it a lot easier to mix lots of songs together very, very quickly. So I'm using one channel for my microphone at the moment, but normally I would be able to mix together 4 tracks at once.
Oh
So
my god.
you could like basically stack and stack and stack and stack, and then come in and hit with the hardest song there.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, one DJ who's very good at this is Andy C, who is more or less the king of drum and bass.
Okay. Who who would you say kind of I want to say idol, but like inspiration for DJing?
Well, I think actually probably like I should tell you the story of the first drum and bass I ever heard. So basically, my friend who used to live next door to me when we were about 9 or 10, he got a tape from his older cousin of a guy called Mickey Finn playing at an event called Helter Skelter in 1996. And the thing is, back then at raves, people used to take along whistles and air horns and stuff like that. So they would on the tape there was this like constant low level blah 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 like that. And because I used to live in California when I was younger, from like age 3 to age 8. So
Oh wait,
I
wait, you were in the United States?
oh yeah 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 yeah. Basically, I used to live near Stanford in California.
Oh wow.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. But anyway, so when I moved back to Europe, like, everyone was like rolling off their tits on ecstasy. Like, trance music was like all over the pop charts. It was crazy. Like, all of these instrumental tracks that were just made with a drum machine and shit, they all had
Hmm.
videos. So
Hmm.
basically, I was trying to figure out how this music was made, and I was still thinking in terms of live rock and roll band type of thing. So I was like, this music's amazing, but I could do without the bagpipes mixed over every song.
Oh god, yes.
Blah, 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 like that.
Man, bagpipes just remind me of oof.
Yeah,
That's
that's
how we
the thing. I
got
didn't
woken
realize
up
that.
one
I thought it
time.
was part of the music. I didn't realize it was the audience.
Do you find music therapeutic for you?
Oh, absolutely. I can just kind of lose myself in this.
Do you
Like if you've had a tough day, you could do worse than sling some drum and bass around.
so when you go into making tracks, what do you really go for? Is there do you have your own methodology of do oh oh
Hmm?
do you yeah, my Siri just went off for some reason.
Oh, okay.
Have you ever made or like tracks for people that requested it from you?
Well, no, I mainly just used to produce for fun. To be honest, I'm better. I think I'm better as the DJ than as a producer. Because DJing, it's like more immediate. It's more
Yeah.
about getting pre-existing songs and like kind of stitching them together into a symphony.
Yes,
That's
yes,
how
that
I would
is. Do you would you go out to like local bars or anything and like
describe it.
volunteer
Not right
like
now.
well like not now but like have you done this prior?
To be honest, I used to play at some free parties when I was down in Somerset. The problem is, like in London, uh, basically the part of England I grew up in, drum and bass was still super, super popular. And then in London, it tends to be more garage, uh, which you may or may not be aware of as a style of music. But
Yeah,
yeah,
I
for
have
them,
never
drum
known
and
that.
bass is kind of a retro sound.
Huh.
Yeah, it's funny actually. Like, yeah, basically anyone who's like 15 years older than me, they find out I like drum and bass. They're like, "Oh fuck, like you're like the son I'd never had." And then anyone maybe like 5 to 10 years younger than me is like, "Oh, you should meet my dad, man."
What is garage?
Garage, it's how to best describe it? It's one of the genres that dubstep kind of came out of. So imagine something it's kind of like let me see if I've actually got any garagey type songs on here. Just
Yeah, I was gonna say, do you have an example of a
yeah, let
garage
me throw
song?
something on. Oh shit, hang on a minute. Sorry, that's still synchronized to drum and bass speed. Okay, here we go.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, this is a sort of
This is like
subgenre of garage called bassline.
this is like club music.
Yeah, 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 yeah. Like that's the thing. Like we, all of this is. But anyway, yeah. So that's just a
That's
digression to explain
catchy.
what garage sounds like.
It's, I was say that's like really catchy.
Yeah, 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 yeah. Well, like I say, like we basically it's like the UK is the back of America's fridge, and you like cram like oh shit, we just invented rock and roll, cram it to the back of the fridge, and then you get the Beatles and the Rolling Stones coming back. Basically, it's because we're such a small country, it's more of a pressure cooker, so it's easier for people in John O'Groats and Land's End to be listening to the same music. So like we get
Mm.
American music, nerd out over it, and like optimize it, and then repackage it and send it back.
But in a better, but in a better way.
Or at least a more like accessible, I would say.
Yeah, got you, got you. Tell me more about your company that you started right now.
So yeah, basically we are called Amen Breaks UK, and we sell drum and bass themed merchandise. For instance, t-shirts, phone cases, hats, that kind of thing. We very very small at the moment. We've literally just started. Normally, I would be out, pounding the pavements with Petunia, my homemade sound system. But at the moment, I'm yeah, sort of stuck indoors. The two other guys that run it, one of them is a guy Aaron that I was at school with. He actually lives out in Dubai now, and his friend Z is also running the company with us. They both work in digital marketing, so yeah, they handle that end of everything, and then I'm kind of the hype man in London. My
Like it.
5 year plan is, those electric tuk tuks. I
The
want to get
electric
one of
what?
those and just fucking stuff it like a turkey full of speakers. And I hire someone to tour me around central London planting it. You say, yeah, like look me dead in the eye and tell me that doesn't sound like wicked fun.
It does. It does. It does. One thing that I'm actually really curious on right now,
Yeah.
how different are music? Oh wow, it's thundering.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Um,
It's been mad windy over here actually.
how different is the music over in the UK compared to the US music? That's what
Oh.
I'm kind of curious about because I only asked this because for me, I like when I was like 18, 19, I
Mm,
was really into like wanting to go to rave festivals.
mm,
And I noticed that a lot of the rave festivals, like all the big ones, like Tomorrowland, um, there's a couple more that I forgot, but Tomorrowland's like the only one that stuck with me, are
mm.
all over in Europe.
Oh yeah,
And
yeah, yeah.
there's not that much in the US. And I was just
Well,
curious on that part.
well, to be actually, this is what I said to these two American lads that we took along to our festival. I said it's finally like we've got a generation of Americans when you're like, let's take loads of drugs and dance for hours on end, and they don't go, that's gay, dude.
Wait, wait,
You know what I mean?
wait. Who would say, let's take loads of drugs?
And dance in a feet, like dance for hours on end.
I feel like that's like the very
I,
common,
I,
like,
but I mean that's the thing. It was like oh that's gay. And I was like yeah, but like gay people have the best drugs. Get to know, man.
unreal. Yeah, I've always wanted to go to one, but just seeing like the videos that people post on YouTube about like
Mm,
the the festivals overseas, like
mm.
on the other side of the world, they seem more into it. Like
Well,
they
dude,
seem.
like the thing is, the whole point of rave, it's like the whole punk thing. It's kind of do it yourself. Like originally in what we called the summer of love in like 88, 89, 90 ish. Basically, people would just make their own. Like they'd take massive sound systems out into the middle of nowhere, and you'd have to call up a secret phone number and stuff. I've been to parties like this when I was younger. You'd all end up like driving around with your head out the window. So, like, what I would say is, you can't wait for things to happen. You got to make them happen.
Mhm.
If you're not finding a scene to your satisfaction, you know, get some boys together, get a generator, get a speaker.
I feel like that's very like no one really wants to do that anymore. They just have the internet now,
Oh well, I mean,
which is
obviously you
sad.
can't do it right now, but
Oh yeah, not now, but like even in this
what,
current time,
what part of the
in
states
this
are you
current
in?
age. What?
What part of the states are you in?
I'm in Georgia right now, so
Oh,
southern of the United States.
well, you'll have plenty of open space though, and when things are less fucky.
Yeah. One thing that I did one thing that I did want to go and try to teach myself one day is legit how to DJ and how to make my own tracks. Because when I was like watching someone do it,
Mm.
it just seemed really nice because like you get to like I want to call it you were one with the beat.
Yeah. Well,
So
to be honest, it's actually like not really that difficult. Um,
mhm,
Most music, like I say, it's all built on the same grid. So, for instance, in drum and bass, everything happens in 16 bar chunks. So that
mhm,
means basically 1, 2, 3, 4 times 16, and then something changes.
hmm,
And so basically, what you can do if you say are playing a song and you know that in 32 bars it's going to go down a level in energy, and you have another song that has 32 bars of introduction, and you know that you know when it hits those 32 bars it'll go up a level in energy, you can position them in such a way that the energy never drops.
hmm.
Or say if you feel like people need a little rest, you can start the mix at the breakdown, so they both build up together, and then when the drop happens, you can switch between the two. So basically, like 90% of it is choosing when to stop and start your mixes, and then the other 10% is just using the equalizers, volume controls, and filters and everything to to carve pieces out to make everything fit together better.
Hmm. On an average, how long does it really usually take you to make a mix?
Well, just exactly as long as the mix is for the most part. I mean,
Well,
you know,
like
I might take some time to to like plan out and pick, or I might just completely freeball it.
free ball it. Yeah. That is very interesting.
And then, of course, you can do tricks like, say, if you have a track with vocals, you can switch out bass lines underneath the vocals,
What
or
does that
you.
mean?
So, if you have a song with vocals on it, and then you can mix another song onto it, cut the bass from the song with the vocals, and then the next song will kind of roll on top. I could
Oh, so
actually do that. I
kind
can
of
actually
like a
do that for you now.
mashup.
Sorry.
Kind of like a mashup.
Well,
I
a
want to say.
mashup is more like when you do that in the studio, and then you have
Hmm.
one track that is just two tracks kind of smushed together. But you can do that. You can like do live mixes. I would,
Hmm.
like I said, I would more call that advanced mixing than a mashup. But we're just splitting
Gotcha.
hairs
Yeah.
here. But
Can
I can actually
you?
do a mix like that right now if you want to.
Yeah, I was gonna say, can you play us one of them right
Yeah,
now?
yeah, sure. I'm just gonna turn my microphone down for a second. Okay, so this has vocals, so I'm gonna let the vocals. I'm gonna let this play its vocals, and then when the vocals stop, I'm gonna start mixing, and then I know that the vocals will come in again at the appropriate time. You'll hear
Hmm.
what I mean when I do it. This song is called "Feelings" by Shy FX and T Power, by the way, very popular tune.
Hmm.
All right, I'm gonna start smashing in the next tune now. Yeah, can you hear it coming in from underneath?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, so I've got the bass cut out on the new track, but in a minute I'm going to switch it over and I'm going to cut out a little bit of the mid range so the vocals cut through.
Okay.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And then, because I have 3 channels, I have the next track lined up, and in another 32 bars, I'm going to start mixing again. And you'll see what I mean when I do it. we're going to switch to another bass line. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, so we got a new beat coming in from underneath. And the track with the vocals has all the bass cut out. She's going to start singing again in just a minute. And we're going to start using the downwards filter. Okay, let's start smashing the next one. Okay, and that's how you mix drum and bass.
Wow. Wow. That was a masterpiece.
Yeah, like that's. I think I bought my first turntables when I was like 13 years old.
13.
Mm. Yeah, they were real shitty as well. They were belt drive, so they were really hard to use.
That sounds ancient. Belt drive?
Yeah. So yeah, back in the Stone Ages. Yeah, I remember I bought them secondhand. Eventually upgraded. I've still got some turntables upstairs, but I'm kind of moving to digital now. Just if you've ever tried lifting a big old crate of records, you'll know.
That's about it on my end. I was just about to wrap it up. Unless you have anything else you would like to let
Uh,
the viewers know.
Really, just to plug my brand again.
Yeah,
So if you
yeah.
search at Amen Breaks UK, you'll have our Instagram, and there's a link direct to the shop there. I'm on there at DJ Maiko. So yeah, absolutely have a look at our stuff. There's some really cool designs. I'm actually wearing one right now, but we're just on audio. But take it from me, it looks wicked.
Check them out, guys. If like the brand is amazing as how you produce your music, then I'm sure that this will go. Oh my god, this is
Shucks.
gonna go huge places.
Oh well, that's me blushing. Thank you very much.
Well, thanks so much for taking time out of your day. I know it's late for you for coming on to the show.
Well, luckily for us, I'm an insomniac, so well, thank you so
Yep,
much for having me. It's been an absolute pleasure.
yep, no problem. Thank
Oh,
you
and
again,
also,
man.
yeah, don't forget to send me a link to the actual show when it's up there.
Will do, will do.
Fantastic. Well,